India's Prime Minister is in China for the first time in 7 years to attend a regional economic and security forum. Narendra Modi and China's President Xi Jinping met ahead of the opening of the Shanghai Cooperation Organisation in Tianjin. More than 20 world leaders are attending, including the Turkish and Russian presidents, but it's the India-China relationship at centre stage.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi shaking hands with India's biggest regional rival, China. President Xi Jinping welcomes Modi in China after more than 7 years, signalling a new chapter in relations. The two most populous countries reached an agreement on border management, a highly sensitive issue.
The interests of 2.8 billion people of both the countries are linked to our cooperation. This will also pave the way for the welfare of the entire humanity. We are committed to take forward our relations with mutual trust, respect and sensitivity.
The international situation is both fluid and chaotic. It is the right choice for both sides to be friends who have good neighbourly and amicable ties, partners who enable each other's success and have the dragon and the elephant dance together.
Xi is not only rolling out red carpet for Modi, a leader recently pushed away by President Trump's punishing tariffs. Russian President Vladimir Putin is also here, a leader facing Western isolation, but here being embraced by Xi and other leaders. Leaders of the 10 member countries, including Pakistan, Iran, Belarus, as well as UN Chief Antonio Guterres and Turkey's Erdogan are at the SCO summit, which some analysts say is a part of a push from China to shift the world order away from US dominance. China is also organizing a military parade next week, marking 80 years since the end of the Second World War. Russia's Putin and North Korea's Kim Jong-un are expected to attend, in a further show of China's military might and push for global influence.
Well, Deepa Ollypally is a foreign policy expert and the director of Rising Powers Initiative at the George Washington University. She joins us now from Washington. Welcome. What do you make of this growing alliance across Asia?
I think it's something that nobody would have expected, except for the fact that Mr. Trump has scored an epic foreign policy failure for the United States. One of the biggest reasons that India and China are now on fairly talking good talking terms and in fact look like they're moving closer together to get some substantive cooperation done really comes back to the unexpected treatment by Mr. Trump toward India. And the SCO couldn't have come at a better time for these three countries, Russia, China, and India, because really, if you look at the symbolism even, it is pretty stunning to see the global South leaders coming together in this fashion. And it looks like they're also making a lot of noises about multipolarity, a multipolar world. And I think that is a big signal that the world order might be shifting now. And these three seem to be able to work together, which I would not have said so even a few months ago.
Yeah, India is often thought of as a counter to Chinese influence in the region. So you're sort of saying that more or less Trump's policies are really pushing India into the hands of China, or pushing the two closer together?
I think that they have a long way to go, India and China. There has been, since the 2020 border clash, where there were casualties for the first time in decades, the relations have been really quite disastrous, in fact. And so it would have taken quite a lot for strategic trust to be rebuilt and for them to have a really substantive cooperation, because the border is still not completely resolved. But I think what's happened is that I think India and China don't see any alternative, really. It's in their self-interest to steady the global ship. And especially in Asia, they're the two of the largest economies. India is doing quite well economically, so India is a very attractive partner for China. The strategic distrust has been the biggest obstacle. And in the meantime, India had been moving closer to the United States. And so that has been an obstacle to China's relations with India. So I think what's happening is that there's all these resets happening. But I certainly would not go as far to say that we have seen a kind of a huge change in India-China relations. I think it's going to take time, but I think it's definitely on the path for that.
Who do you think needs whom more out of this relationship?
Between China and India, I think at the moment, probably I would say India, because India had been putting a lot of its eggs in the basket of the United States, strategically speaking, on the Indo-Pacific, the Quad, for example, with Australia, Japan, India, and the United States to counter China. Because China has been building up its relations in South Asia, in the Indian Ocean, next to India's neighborhood, which traditionally India has had a primary role there. So India was concerned. And in this case, the United States was seen as giving India certain leverage. Now, that said, India has always had a very independent foreign policy. It was never going to move so close to the United States that you could call it an ally. That was not in the cards. But I think having Russia maintain its close positions with the Indians, I think that's a big step also. And I think India has been there for Russia in a way that was quite strong. And I think that partnership is strong. So I think while India needs China more, I think Russia and India are also getting even closer together. And China obviously then cannot just play Russia off either.
All right. Well, I have to leave it there. Deepa Ollypally from George Washington University, thanks so much for your analysis.
Thank you very much for having me.